Hello, good night. Welcome to Conversation with Rickford Burke. Thank you for joining me. Wow, it's been a wild day. We have lots to talk about. I expect Mark Benchcop and some other folk to join me. So keep sharing the link, everybody. Share this link. I'm full of energy. I'm fired up and ready to go. I'm ready to war. I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior. So share the link, everybody. Let me say good night to a couple of people. Donna Holder, good night, good night. All the way down there in the south of the United States, good night. Barbara McDonald, good night. Carol Jacobs, good night. Let me know where you're watching from. Ingrid King, Karine Day, Karen Hamilton, good night, everybody. Mark Innes, good night. Keep sharing the link, everybody. Share the link like wildfire. We'll be on fire tonight. Monty Innes, good night. Auntie Brenda KC, my faithful Brooklynite supporter, good night. If you're fired up, let me see you put some fire in the chat. Let's go. Put some fire in the chat. Go like this live, like this broadcast, whatever you want to call it. Sabrina Blue, good night. Watching all the way from Guyana. Dennis Abrams, good night. Rodwell Thompson, good night, sir. All the way from Toronto, Canada. My Victoria brother. Fitzgerald, Jarek, good night. Don Clark, good night. Share the link, everybody. Share the link, everybody. I see Jagdeo say he coming for y'all in the diaspora. Anybody who talk against the government, I am Putin. I am a tin cup dictator. I am a bootleg Nazi. But Jagdeo is pretending to be a bootleg Nazi, right? How dare these black people talk to me like that? All right, I'm going to send my armed men. He can't get the death squads to kill people anymore. The world is watching and he'll be held accountable. And I still believe he should be held accountable. Keep sharing the link, everybody. Keep sharing the link. Let me see the fire. Let me see some fire in the comments. Let me see some flames. Let me see some flames. We on fire. Yeah, let me see them flames. Let's fire up the comments. So, listen. Keep sharing the link. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot for talk about tonight, right? Keep sharing the link, everybody. Share the link. Get into all of your Guyanese groups all across all social media platforms. And if you're watching me, I love my YouTube audience. Oh my goodness. My last broadcast on YouTube had 15,000 people watching live. So YouTube, my YouTubers, share this link far and wide across all social media platforms. And if you're watching me on any of the social media platforms and you're not subscribed or you're not following me or you haven't liked my page, please do that. We have a new page, website, everything coming for next year for Conversation with Rickford Burke. Let me see the fire. Fire up the yes. Yes. Troy Fraser. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let me take a 60-minute break, and I'll be back. Share the link, share the link, share the link. I'll be back in 60 seconds. All right. Welcome back to Conversation with Rick from Work. Come on, keep sharing this link. I'm already seeing thousands of you here. Come on, share the link, everybody. This is important. We are not going to allow a tin cup dictator, bootleg Nazi, racist, PPP, cricketer, try to silence us in America. Imagine that, in America. In America. Come on, share the link, everybody. In America. This is crazy what they're trying to do. So, oh my goodness, what did I do? Let me see. Oh, there we go. Did I get it? All right, I messed with the monitor. All right, share the link, everybody. Share the link, share this link far and wide. Share the link. Let me keep. All right, and John, good night. Rita Savory Sealy, good night. Donna McDonald, Mr. Bart. Let me read that. Oh my, it gone. Mr. Bart, Mr. Shameful. Donna, is what you telling me is shameful about this something I do? I hope it's not me. I hope it's Bharrat. Mark, good night, watching from Long Island. Donna Brent, watching from IFLUT. Donna, I hope that you didn't go to the University of IFLUT. Come on, share the link, everybody. Share the link, everybody. Brendan Thompson, all the way from Brooklyn in the house. Marcia Fordyce, good night. T. Shepard, good night. Share the link, boy. Share the link, everybody. Deborah Glasgow, good night. Let me see the fire. Fire. Send some fire on Jack Day. Fire. Michael Gittings, good night. Watching all the way from New Jersey. Stacy Johnson, Mary O'Brien, Maryland in the house, Toronto in the house. Good night, everybody. Share the link. Let's fire this place up. Come on, everybody. Roxanne. I just saw Roxanne. Is that? Let me see. Who's that? Kevin Cook, Ainsworth McCann, good night. Roxanne Haywood, good night. Share the link, everybody. Share the link. Fiona Harris, hey Fiona. Brandy Anderson, good night. Godfrey, good night. Donna Brown, good night. Donna Brown, is that Donna from London? Good night. Teresa Gabriel, good night. Share the link, everybody. Share the link. Come on, let's hit. Wow. Wow. So far, we have 17,000 people watching. Come on, let's go to 20,000. Share the link. Let's bring 20,000 people on here. All right. So, let me. All right, I was just talking to somebody in Canada there. Come on, share the link, everybody. Share the link. Lloyd Primo, good night. By the way, did you guys notice that Magistrate, is it Rondell Weaver, issued a blistering Mr. Nelson, good night. A blistering judgment where the PPP government has been using the courts to using the court system and using the same either fraud charges or extortion charges to criminalize Black leaders that are speaking out. That's what they're doing. They're abusing the court and the police process. They're colluding with senior police officers at CID. We know who they are. I'm talking to law enforcement. We know who they are. They're at CID and they're at police headquarters. And they're colluding with East Indian racists in the PPP. Now, they're perfectly fine, patriotic, decent, non-racist PPP East Indians. East Indians. I'm not talking about those. Even some of the PPP. I'm talking about the rank racists, the criminal minds. Keep sharing the link, everybody. The criminal minds in the PPP that collude with criminal elements in the Guyana police force. And they trust me, they taking notes. Because every time I have a show to criticize somebody, People at CID go and call the people and say, come up and sign um, a cybercrime complaint against Rickford Burke. They operated like if I in Guyana. They think they're so invincible that the mandate of the Guyana police force doesn't have borders. At least when it comes to black people that speak up. And the black house slaves, Blenheim, Caesar, Hicken, and others, are the ones that they have targeting us. I told you all before, I had the privilege of seeing photographs of a file they have on me. It has like probably about 80 complaints by now, about 80. Last time it had like 75, right? So what they do is call up people and tell them, come and sign a complaint against Rickford Burke. You come and sign a complaint against Mark Ben Cobb or whoever it is, but they like Rickford Burke, right? Because Jagdeo told them to focus on Burke. Frame Burke. Do everything you can to frame Rickford Burke. We will bring him down and we will bring him to Guyana. They even got a kidnap plot. I kid you not. They even have a kidnap plot that they will dust off whenever they think I'm coming to Guyana to be killed. Because I'm so vocal. I'm the one with the influence. Right? Oh, how dare Burke know all these important people? Only we East Indians from the PPP should know that. Right? This is all about ethnic supremacy. Keep sharing the link, everybody. All about ethnic supremacy. Right? We have 23,715 people watching. Keep sharing the link. Keep sharing the link. So they are all upset and they want revenge, right? So they got the police to get Mohammed, some Asab Mohammed, who owns BM Suit. Because CG Eddie and I demanded that they pay people that they owe, that they stole money from, people that they defrauded, this BM Suit dealership, that they defrauded. We called them out. Over 1,900 people went on the post. And we called them out. Till they begged us, they put James Bond to call me, to beg me to change the post. They're going to fix all the problem. Then a certain person in the government, close to the Attorney General's chambers, and the same people at CID call them. I say, here, we want your framework. We want your framework. Say so. What they don't know is that everything they're doing is being communicated to US law enforcement. Everything. And they don't care. They know that. They don't care because they think that they're powerful. They think that they're powerful. And so they have this plot to lure me to Guyana. It didn't work. Then they come up with a plot to try to go through the courts, to have the court compel me to come to Guyana so that I could be killed. They wrote to the US federal government, we want you all to arrest Burke. Imagine, right? These petty racists in Guyana and the police force, petty racists and petty house slaves paid to do dirty work in the Guyana police force. Keep sharing the link, everybody. They want to enlist the US government in a conspiracy through the diplomatic channels and through the court system to get me killed. That's what Bharrat Jagdeo, he thinks he's slick. That's what Bharrat Jagdeo is choreographing and orchestrating behind the scenes. Let me play for you some comments he made at a press conference today.
Some of the odds are, I can understand they come from APNU, etc. But we are not fighting also APNU. Sometimes when we engage in robust criticism of some of what goes on social media, people think that the party should just allow people to say what they want. Now, we believe in free speech. This party believes in free speech.
That's a lie. Blatant lie. So what is happening is that they're under scrutiny. So, I mean, Bharrat Jagdeo is such an ordinary person that he thinks he can deceive people by holding a press conference and say empty words. We believe in free speech. They don't believe in free speech. They believe in free speech for East Indian people. That's it. And the few Black people that subscribe to their party because they want political power. Take it from me. They don't believe in free speech for Black people. Period. No apologies for that. That's it. They believe we should be enslaved. They don't believe that we own Guyana too. As a matter of fact, they believe Venezuelans have more rights to Guyana than Black people. Venezuela has declared war on Guyana. It's a pause because of their so-called Argyle Agreement. They're not fighting Venezuela, you know. They don't care about Venezuela. They care about Black people in the diaspora with influence who are holding conferences, calling them out, holding them to account, and communicating to the elected officials their atrocities and calling for justice. That's who these racists see as their enemies, Black people. And I hope the men and women in the GDF are listening because we have a message for you tonight. But let Bharrat Jagdeo continue with his diatribe.
This party believes in a free media. It believes in a free society. But we will fight people with all of our strength, whichever quarters they come from, who seek to divide our people along ethnic lines.
Let me stop right there. And we will fight you back with all our might. When you, this Nazi, Bharrat Jagdeo, this Guyanese contemporary bootleg Nazi, when you seek to divide us, we will fight you back. And that's what we're doing, and that's what you can't stand. Now, let me say this. Last week, and I started to talk about this earlier, and I diverted. Not last week, yesterday, Magistrate Rondell Weaver, I think that's her name, issued a devastating ruling against the government. They had charged 8 Black men, current and former senior members of the Guyana Police Force, including members of the Police Service Commission, including former Assistant Police Commissioner Paul Sloat. They charged them with fraud because they wanted to move them out of their positions. You hear me? They wanted to move these black people out of their positions so that they could put in either East Indians or black house slaves who would yield and bend and kiss their behinds for jobs and favors. So as to move them out, they fabricated criminal charges against them. The magistrate said there was not one iota of evidence that the prosecution presented in court against these men. Not one. That is criminal. That is despicable. That is destroying the justice system. That's manipulating the justice system in order to destroy black people that they don't like, who challenge them. Abusing the police process. There should be a law where police officers and prosecutors who maliciously prosecute people should be charged. And I hope that some judge one day in Guyana is going to be bold enough to sanction the prosecutors and sanction the police officers who take political directions from these autocrats, these despots, these innate racists like Bharrat Jagdeo, who use them to manipulate the criminal justice system to destroy black people. That's what they're doing. So Bharrat Jagdeo, you can't project to us. You are the one that is dividing the country. You wish right now if you could just wish black people away and talk about you people are. We are responding to your racism. We are responding to your racism, and we are unafraid. We are undeterred by your antics and your shenanigans. Let me continue. Let me continue to listen to him.
And to reverse the progress that we have made.
Reverse the progress that we've made? But the PPP government has reversed the progress that we've made. They're taking all the resources and use it for East Indian communities. They're giving all the contracts to East Indians. They are only giving black people, and it's because we started to complain about their racism, they're only giving black people minor contracts, with some exceptions. Contracts to clean trenches back in slavery. Contract to build little community bridges. Crumbs. Crumbs. Like they have a footballer that they just give a contract to clean the trenches and made him put on a red shirt. A soccer player put on their dirty red shirt because they give him a contract. These people think that they can subjugate and embarrass and diminish black people. And I want to address our young people, 15, 16, 17, straight to 30 and 35. Don't allow anybody to diminish your human dignity by throwing crumbs at you. Don't allow people to buy your franchise by telling you to go and clean a drain. It's almost like creating a concentration camp mentality. This is why they don't want us to talk directly to the people. Because Bharrat Jagdeo is a communist and he believes in a centralized government. And he believes that everything, he must sit down on a chair like an emperor, like Putin, and direct his minions in the media, his ethnic media, controlled only by his East Indian supporters. Newsroom, Guyana Daily News, iNews, Starbrook News, Guyana Times, and the government media, NCN and Chronicle. You check all of those newspapers, they're anti-black. They're anti-black. Anti-black. You see them splash across the faces of black people they despise. That's dividing the country, Bharrat Jagdeo. That's divide. When you come after Rickford Burke and try to frame Rickford Burke and frame Paul Slow, that's dividing the country. And we will fight you back. We will fight you back. Let's continue.
And who tried to take away our freedom. These are non-negotiables for us. We have no apology for fighting these individuals who tried to mislead our nation into doing things or clouding people's judgment so that they make wrong choices. We point out alternatives. So we have, outside of the formal.
So stick a pin. Did you hear what Bharrat Jagdeo'S said? He is coming after us in the diaspora who are social media influencers because we're providing information that is clouding people's judgment. Clouding people's judgment. That's a crime. So Bharrat Jagdeo must have unfettered access to lie and mislead and be a demagogue. And nobody must tell the people the truth or speak truth to power, because he's going to send Guyana police force officers with guns blazing like bounty hunters to kill you wherever you are. That's what he's saying. Let's listen on.
Opposition, we have had a lot of those coming from some wild people. Rickford Burke and some of the others.
Wild people. Some of the others, he can't call anybody else name, you know. He wants to target me. I'm not the one that that, you know, anybody for him cheated on with. Nobody for him never come and ask me to do nothing, and I never cheated with nobody. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not the one his wife cheated on him with. I don't know why he's after me. I'm not the one that your wife cheated on you with. So back off. I'm not afraid of you, Bharrat. You come after me, I go after you back. That's how it's going to be. But why don't you be a man? Not a half man that you are, not a three-quarter man that you are. Well, you don't even know what kind of man you are. So I leave that alone. When you figure that out, tell us. When Bharrat Jagdeo can figure out what kind of man he is, he can tell us. But I know he's not a whole man. But somehow he's hung up on me. And like I said, his conversation was reported to the United States government where he said he is daring. He's attacking me because he's daring United States elected officials to defend me because he's going to bring them down. Just like he's coming up there, you can hear what he said, that ANTNU is supporting extortion because they're standing up for my rights. Bharrat Jagdeo, that was caught on video extorting $500,000, allegedly $100,000 US dollars from Vice News reporters posing as Chinese business people. Bharrat Jagdeo, whose government was sanctioned by the US government for him, Bharrat, and members of his government, forming and financing death squads that killed over 1,400 black people. Bharrat Jagdeo, that allegedly stole the land his houses on, ancestral lands. Bharrat Jagdeo, who allegedly used money from the government to develop Pradoville, never paid it back. A serial crook, a con artist, a hardcore criminal, murderer, extortionist extraordinary, calling black people criminals. Mark Benchcroft has joined us. Mark, what do you think about what Barrett just said there?
Well, I don't think much about what Barrett says in general. Bharrat Jagdeo'S is just a stone cold criminal. As you have said, hundreds of people, and this is factual. This is what people have been privy to for a while, that Bharrat Jagdeo, under his regime, we saw hundreds of people have been slaughtered under questionable circumstances. We saw, for example, $200 million white elephant of Skeldon Sugar Factory. We saw billions of dollars being stolen and disappeared from the Gaisuko, given to friends and cronies of Bharrat Jagdeo and the PPP. We saw with the Amila Falls project, hundreds of millions of dollars disappeared. We saw during his presidency billions upon billions of dollars. And here is a guy who came out of nothing, who used to live in a shop front in Kitty, a cockroach infested shop front. And anybody who lives in a basement would consider living in a basement a huge house, but a shop front. People spoke of the condition of that shop front, and Jagdeo would urinate inside of the shop front and all sort of dirty business. But we're not here to talk about his dirty
Sounds like
business,
a low life to me.
because everybody already knows his dirty business. But what we're not going to accept is this dirty man coming to talk and pretending as though he can threaten people and lose the state apparatus on people and believe that people are going to run away, lock away in their basements and be afraid of him, peep him through some sort of crease and be afraid of him. People are not afraid of Bharrat Jagdeo. Bharrat Jagdeo is basically a non-entity. Nobody gives a damn about Bharrat. Bharrat is known to be corrupt in almost every circle in Guyana. He is known to be a racist. And not only is he targeting persons of African descent, he is targeting East Indian brothers and sisters who don't support the PPP, East Indian brothers and sisters and others who are speaking up against the PPP regime, against corruption, against discrimination, against persecution. We saw what happened to Brian Max, couple baseball bats. Brian spoke out. Brian was about to talk up about the rigging of the 2020 elections by the PPP. This is the same Brian Max who thought the coalition rigged the elections, until Brian Max got to see the other side of the coin. So guess what? Under the PPP regime, not so long ago, they beat Brian Max up. PPP operatives beat Brian Max up, almost killed him, locked him up, trumped up charges against him, and they weren't done with that. They went, apart from Rhonda Lane, we know what they've done to her. They went to Malcolm Harry Paul, a former lieutenant of the Guyana Defense Force. Malcolm Harry Paul spoke out and asked supporters of the PPP, especially Jagdeo, who attempted to sell a piece of Essequibo to Venezuela. All Malcolm said was, why don't the supporters of the PPP go out and join the Guyana Defense Force, go out and fight for the country also? Just like the African Guyanese who are fighting and other Guyanese who are fighting and standing up to defend Guyana. That's all Malcolm Harry Paul said. And guess what? Police surrounded Malcolm's house. They arrested Malcolm, dumped him in the lockups a couple of days, and then instituted some trumped-up charges against him. So we're seeing, apart from the fact that we already know that majority of African Guyanese are being discriminated against, there's no job, they're being persecuted, and everything. What we are seeing too is Jagdeo, they have extended that to our Indian brothers and sisters, our indigenous brothers and sisters, and all Guyanese are feeling the squeeze under this dictatorship. It has got to stop. It is unacceptable, and we've got to fight back.
Mark, I want to ask you this. We now know, thanks to warnings from U.S. law enforcement, that Bharrat Jagdeo is sending Guyana Police Force officers to conduct espionage on us, spy on us, come to our homes, take photographs of our cars, have people follow us. This happened when we were advocating for you when you were in prison. Now they're starting it again. What do you make of the fact that people in the Guyana Police Force are willing to sacrifice officers, risk officers being caught and jailed in this country, to satisfy this political vendetta campaign that Bharrat Jagdeo was on? That's what they're doing. They are sending police officers. We know what police officers were here in August. We know that we're here in July. We know, you know, so we're getting briefings from U.S. law enforcement on how we should, our behavior patterns and so on. What do you make of that? That the Guyana Police Force is now being used as the death squad that Bharrat Jagdeo formed when he was president?
You're asking someone a question that I have lived through that on the Bharrat Jagdeo and the death squads right there in Guyana, that we were on the ground on the battlefield standing up against the very things that we are seeing signs of again right now. Because during those days, it was the bloodiest years in Guyana. We are Bharrat Jagdeo through death squads and killing squads, whether it's through the Guyana Police Force or through notorious drug lords. They were all in bed together, targeting political opponents. We know of the assassination of Ronald Waddle, we know of the jailing of scores of individuals with trumped up treason charges, trumped up sedition charges, all manner of charges that were trumped up. We know the fact that people, and this is what I have personally witnessed, mind you, people being shot with pellet bullets, with live rungs, people being beaten, people being locked up, and all manner of things under Jagdeo's presidency. Look, I'm a witness to that. I've been there. Apart from a victim, apart from spending 5+ years in solitary confinement on a trumped up treason charge, put that aside. There are lots of things that I've witnessed under this despotic individual regime. Now, we are seeing kind of like signs of the same thing, deadly things again. And who are better in terms of saying that, look, what we are seeing now is not a good track. It's not a good direction that it's going, because when you have law enforcement officers coming outside of Guyana and following and wanting to take photographs of individuals and doing a mini version of espionage job, it has got to stop. And like you've said, law enforcement agencies are onto that. I'm not saying much, but those officers, those ranked from CID, they know who they are. The other thing is, you know, those of us who lived through the period of Jagdeo there, where we were subjected to, and there are people who, the opposition leader and others, Lincoln Lewis and others, I'm sure they have special branch people following them 24/7. I have been a victim of that. Everywhere I went, everywhere I go in Guyana, 2 or 3 special branch agents are following me every single minute of the day. So this is nothing new. But what is surprising is that this guy who suddenly grew some sort of balls in wanting to test his powers now outside of the jurisdiction of Guyana. And this is where it has gotten dangerous. And this is why we've got to stand up. We've got to fight back, because he must not get through with this. I leave this here now to say, before handing the mic back to you, I wonder why Bharrat Jagdeo is so afraid to visit the United States. If he wants to serve anybody a summons, they don't have to pay anybody. He doesn't have to encourage corrupt businessmen in Guyana to serve summons and so forth. He can come and do it himself. Let him come. Let them come. And let those corrupt policemen come. Because what I do know for 2024, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy with them. Outside of calling for sanctions, there will be calls for revocation of visas and all manner of things. It is not going to be light on them. At least, I say no more.
I noticed Mr. Caesar joining us. Mr. Caesar, Bharrat Jagdeo, the Guyana Police Force, issued a statement. We'll come back to his comments just now. The Guyana Police Force, you could tell that it's Bharrat Jagdeo that directed the police force to do that, because the Guyana Police Force statement was verbatim, a verbatim statement to one of his Jagdeo's later comments. So that threat that they will send armed people, and this is not, I want people to understand, the threat is not to send police officers or people from this country. It is to send private citizens along with Guyana Police Force officers, who have no jurisdiction in any country other than Guyana, to your homes. That triggered a Washington, D.C. based organization that was just formed called the Combined Guyanese Diaspora Organizations of America to put out a statement reminding people about the laws of self-defense and defending your property here, stand your ground, and all of that. What is your reaction to what Bharrat Jagdeo and the police force has said, and how do you feel about the diaspora, combined diaspora organizations putting out that statement, telling people you have a right to even shoot to kill, to to protect yourself and your property if people invade your premises.
And you know, Rickford, and thank you for that. Thank you for breaking that down for me. You know, on Tuesday on Mark Show, I would have said the same thing. You know, that if these people come onto my property, it is not promised that they would come off of my property alive, because I know my rights. You know, some people are, you know, ignorant to their rights sometimes. So it is very, very important. And it's a great thing that this organization would have put out this information to people so that people understand their rights, especially for us, you know, social activists out there, because we are the targets. We are the targets of this PPPC dictatorship, right? So listen, we are standing our ground here. You understand me? We are making it known, you understand me, that we are not softening up to Bharrat Jagdeo here. Okay, his back is against the wall, hence his positioning of trying to send normal citizens, and these normal citizens have to be very stupid to come out to somebody's house. Because Rickford, when you come out to someone's house, you understand me? Nobody knows your house and knows the area that you live in better than you do. Okay, so you're just setting yourself up for whatever happened, right? You don't know who are, you know, the individual that you're coming to neighbors. Because Rickford, I'm going to go a bit further to say that, listen, I have friends in the FBI that I've already notified. You understand me? Based on my activism, what this guy is attempting to do, I've notified a lot of my neighbors who are ex-policemen. Okay, so when you walk into somebody's neighborhood with your stupidness and going to pull out your guns and all of that stuff, you don't know who you're walking into. So Bharrat Jagdeo can go ahead and send who he wants to send. And listen, these officers from the Guyana police force, these guys really got to be stupid. They got to be stupid, even more stupid than the guy you have on screen, to spend 5.5, 6 hours to travel to this country. You understand me? To put their life at risk. Come on,
And
think
to
about
commit espionage. To commit espionage.
Yes. Yeah, and it's terrorism also, Rickford. It's a form of terrorism.
International terrorism at that. And
Yes.
I'm pretty sure those are some of the charges that we will see coming out of this investigation. Let me continue to, as a matter of fact, let me say this, let me throw this back to Mark. One of my neighbors, and one of my two people, one of the witness who was with me, and one of my neighbors told the police that based on the posture of these people that came into my property like bounty hunters, they believe that if there weren't witnesses, they would have tried to shoot me or something and say that I attacked them. What do you think about that, Mark?
There's always a possibility, because we're dealing with a notorious criminal, Bharrat Jagdeo. And I'm not sure why Bharrat Jagdeo is not behind bars. From international law enforcement standpoint, he is known as a criminal. That's a fact. And so if he believes that he sits there in Guyana as a criminal and can direct law enforcement agencies outside of Guyana to go and violate the rights of citizens, especially citizens in the US and citizens maybe in Canada and outside of in other areas, he is mistaken. It is not going to happen. Now, when it comes to goons of the Guyana police force, anything is possible. Absolutely anything is possible. With regards to the officer in question that they sent, it is unfortunate that they have used that individual to go after and do the dirty work. Whether they were going to use force to kill you or not, that particular officer is not. I have known him over the years. I don't know if he has changed, but whenever he puts the bangle on you, he has put the bangles on me a couple of times. He does it in a nice, respectful manner. And I say this because I don't know if things have changed. I don't know whether businessmen would have given them the order to kill, to shoot to kill, or to wipe you out. I don't know. But one of the things, as long as Bharrat Jagdeo and Hicken, as long as they're involved, and other corrupt cops, senior cops in the Guyana police force, especially over at CID there, anything is possible. You could have been a dead man. They could have dragged you out. I think your size, you were about 5'4" or 5'5". They could have They could have assassinated you right there and then and just walk away. Who knows? Now, I'm not saying that the cop would have, but who knows? I'm not putting my hand on the block for anybody. And that is why people have to be extra careful, because this guy, Jagdeo, is known in law enforcement agencies as a criminal, a money launderer, and all these manner of things. It's just a matter of time before he gets the bangle on him. He's panicking right now.
Right. And also, I want people to know, I just want people to know that I don't ever move alone. No, that's number one. But we could have had a very bad situation. I don't want to dwell on it. But the person who was with me is a licensed firearm holder who was armed. And could you imagine if we had a confrontation? What would have happened? I mean, so people, Guyanese, no. If you are eligible to get a concealed carry, go right now. Your life is in danger. The government of Guyana is threatening Guyanese. And I'm pretty sure at some point in time, U.S. government officials will start to intervene in this matter. Call up your senators, call up your U.S. senators, call up your Congress people, let them know that you feel threatened. Go to your local precinct, ask them to come and do what is called a crime survey of your house, crime prevention survey of your house. They will tell you all the vulnerabilities, protect yourself from these criminals. And they're not only going to send Guyanese police, they're going to pay unsavory elements to come and attack us. This is a wide range.
And they have, Rickford, in New York, they have a few, and as is known already, where it should be known that there are a few who are from the death squad, the Black Clothes Police. There are few of those who are hitmen. They are known in New York. So if those elements at CID headquarters feel, and Jagdeo feel that they could use those individuals, they are already known, mind you. And I prefer not to telegraph shots. I prefer not to talk much about that, but they've just got to be extra careful as to their next move, because people are not going to back down. With that said, Mr. Burke, I've had a very, very busy day. You know, I'm a babysitter, and I've just got to rush back and get some stuff done.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us. Wayne and I would wrap up the show. I want to continue to listen to some of the comments that this clown Bharrat Jagdeo made. So thanks a lot. Wayne, let us continue to listen to Bharrat Jagdeo's comments and come back and comment on the other side.
Fall in this category. They have nothing good. They live abroad. They have nothing good to say about our country. They sow divisions, discord every single day by their comments. They use social media as a weapon against the government, but also against private citizens of our country. They use social media as a means of extorting people. And clearly, this can't be free speech.
Wow.
This can be protected speech.
There goes the communists.
This cannot be this area of criminality.
Wayne, he said it can't be free speech. Listen to what he's saying, this can't be free speech. They have nothing good to say about the government of the country. He tried to say government, but then he covered up and say country, because he realized it's going to sound real bad. And he said they sow discord. What happened to his East Indian supporters? Kwame McCoy runs a page called Life in Guyana. The most vicious, nasty attacks on people. The most racist attacks on people. Critics. The most nasty violence perpetrated and advocated against people. But no, they are apparently superior because their targets are Black people. Their targets are Black people. So this racism, right, Bharrat Jagdeo, doesn't care about what his party supporters do because they have carte blanche, right? They could say anything about Black people and opposition members and curse them the East Indian members of on the PNC side because they see them as associating with black people. Right? What do you think about what he just said there?
Okay, first thing, Rickford, we have nothing good to say about Guyana. All right. 48% of the people in Guyana are living below the poverty line. We have a 48% dropout rate in Guyana. Part of the PPPC manifesto was to produce 50,000 jobs. Another part which did not happen, and they never said anything about part-time jobs. So I don't know where they're going with this whole part-time job initiative, which in the numbers are not adding up either. Part of the PPPC manifesto was free university. I have not seen that as yet. They have been total, Rickford, unequal distribution of wealth across Guyana. With the evidence is there. There is proof. And listen, when you have unequal distribution of wealth, Rickford, it does not happen by chance. In this case, it was purposely designed by the PPPC to be that way. Okay? And let's keep going here. Children are going to school hungry. Children are going to bed hungry. And yet, this guy wants us to have something good to say about his dictatorship government and about Guyana, an oil-producing nation, a nation that has been deemed the fastest growing economy in the world. We are seeing such atrocities, economic genocide against the people of Guyana. Look at Guyana Power and Light. Look at GWI. Look at the Georgetown Public Hospital. Look at all these things. Inadequate service across the board. Who keeps reaping from the country? The rich and wealthy. Bharrat Jagdeo'S and his inner circle. Total nepotism, sir.
Let's continue to hear what he said here.
Because it's criminal what they're doing. That they should get a free pass whilst everyone else in this country would have to.
Notice he's now assuming global jurisdiction. He said that people from anywhere in the world must not be able to say what they're saying because they live out of the country. The Guyana government must hold them accountable as well. Listen.
Account to the laws of the country.
So he doesn't care about jurisdiction. You must be held accountable to the laws of his country, his laws.
So I'm so pleased that we could actually start holding people accountable for what they say. Now,
so he's pretending now to give Guyanese the impression that there's now some special power, some special extraterritorial power that he, Bharrat Jagdeo, has conferred upon himself and arrogated to the Guyana police force to hold, allegedly, people accountable from overseas. This guy thinks he's Putin, he's a god. The next thing they'll try to do is start sending people to poison people abroad. But let's listen.
They can say whatever they wish. Rickford, Burke, or whoever else can say whatever they wish. But if it's seditious,
it is seditious. We can say whatever you wish, but do not say what we don't want you to say, because anything you say that is not approved by us or doesn't meet our approval is seditious. Only we East Indian people in the PPP have the power to speak with unfettered rights and freedom of speech. Let's listen.
If you're in Guyana and you say this and it's seditious, you have to face the court. They too.
Notice what he's calling seditious is criticism of the government.
Must face the account or be held accountable.
Up to now, he has not stated what is seditious. What seditious speech we've engaged in. Nothing. All he said, we have nothing good to say about the government. That's it. That's sedition.
Rickford, I have one thing, if you just allow me 1 second.
Sure,
I have one thing to say, Rickford. Where is the judiciary in Guyana on these matters? Their silence is deafening. Hence the reason why we have monsters of this nature in Guyana. Where is the judiciary? We have heard nothing. He is just totally, this guy is the law on everything I believe in
But,
Guyana.
you're making a point I'm coming to. I want to hold that point because I'm coming to. Because what he's trying to do with this situation where he's claiming to have evidence, I want you to, and then we'll close after that. I want the audience to listen to his pattern. What he's doing is attempting to coerce the judiciary and dictate to the judiciary how his alleged fabricated charges against me should go. Let's listen.
And so I was so pleased. I saw the opposition saying they support Rickford Burke and that the PPP wants to silence its critics. We're not saying he should remain silent. He could speak as much as he wants to.
Bharrat, you can't silence me. You can't silence me. So you're not God. You're just an ordinary cricketer from Unity that come out of an outhouse. But go ahead. Let's listen.
But you must, if it crosses the border of criminality, you have to face the law like anyone else.
And Wayne, notice, if it crosses the border of criminality, according to Jagdeo. So he is the one who is the determinant and the arbiter of what is criminality. Let's go on.
But what the opposition is doing, they're supporting, one of the charges that Rickford Burke has. And we have credible evidence now. In fact, solid evidence that he was part of the plot to extort a businessman money, and he's charged for that. So
let me pause there. This BM dealership had defrauded these people hundreds of millions of Guyana dollars. Hundreds of millions of Guyana dollars. And so what BM Soot was trying to do is hire somebody to break into a website that had that information that they were defrauding people. And that's when they set up these people. I don't even know who the people are, right? To pay them $750 to break into a website to remove that information, right? That's what Bharrat Jagdeo and the police are saying. I am a part of a plot to extort. When BM Soot called these people and offered them money to break into a US media company, to take down a post exposing their fraudulent conduct. I in America, I don't even know these people. I don't even know what they're doing in Guyana. But because they want to frame me like they frame Paul Slow and Clinton Conway and Andres Junius and all of these people, black people, that's what they're trying to do. But I challenge you, bring out your evidence, man. Bring your evidence. Don't come on TV and talk about it. The other thing I want to say is that this issue is supposedly in the magistrate's court. And there's a rule, a law, in fact, that you cannot discuss a matter that is sub judice. He's the vice president of Guyana. And every single day, he's discussing this thing. He's saying now he saw a video of me being served and I ran away. He said he saw a video, a police video. Let's assume this is police evidence. Bharrat Jagdeo is saying that the police sent it to him. So Bharrat Jagdeo is sitting down with the police every day, colluding that they're fabricating evidence, calling people to make statements. Listen, we're on to them, but let's continue listening.
APNU wants to prevent a man. APNU supports extortion of businessmen, basically, because they don't want him to face trial for extortion of money from a businessman. Now, I know that this is probably what APNU wants. This is not about free speech alone. This is about extortion. You know, in the United States of America, in any part.
So listen, I want the Guyanese people to understand what Bharrat Jagdeo is doing. Bharrat Jagdeo, because he wants me so bad and he wants to silence me, he and the police sat down in Guyana with a businessman to ask the businessman to frame me all the way in America. And so the Guyana police force trumped up these charges in Guyana and said that I committed them in Guyana. And they're charging me in America. Right? I live in New York. If I commit alleged extortion, the NYPD will be at my door in a minute. In a minute. But that's Bharrat Jagdeo. That's what they did to Mark Benchcott. They just told the police charge him with treason because they know if you're charged with treason, you can't get bail. So they're sitting down at police headquarters, or police are going to Bharrat's office, and they're sitting down and looking at the law and say, charge work with that, charge work with this, charge work with this. And I'm out of the jurisdiction. Bharrat Jagdeo thinks that he's a god and that he is so powerful that he has extraterritorial powers. But listen to how he's attempting to coerce the courts to do what he wants.
Rickford,
Go ahead.
1 minute before you continue, because I have to elaborate on this. I heard him say that the coalition support, APNU support extortion. So then if APNU supports extortion, then what does the PPP support?
Murder.
Is it
murder and extortion? Murder.
Is it extrajudicial killing? Is it racism? Is it marginalization? You understand me? Is it suppression of freedom of speech? Among so many other things, Bharrat Jagdeo have some nerve to be talking about APNU in that way and not looking at himself and his party in the mirror. You can continue now, Rickford.
But that listen, like since in Washington, right, we briefed the elected officials that that's what he said. He told private people, and people overheard them planning this thing, that's what he's going to say. The opposition is supporting terrorism, right? They plan to escalate it. Next week, he's going to move it and say, Burke committed terrorism, Melly Mel committed terrorism, Mark Benchcott committed terrorism. You know, he's moving it all the time. Just now it was sedition. Now it's extortion. Then he's going to move it to something else, right? And they also plan that he is going to go to white Republicans and tell the white Republicans that any elected official that condemns their crimes and atrocities, that these elected officials are supporting extortionists and seditious people or whatever. We waited for him. We waited for him because that is going to bring him down. That is going to bring him down. So Bharrat, we dare you. Bring it on. Come and attack the black elected officials in this country. Since you think that you're bad and you have extraterritorial powers, we are waiting for you. Come and attack the black elected officials, you racists. Let's listen to him.
To jail for long periods. So I saw Roysdale Ford, and he has a proclivity to put his foot in his mouth apart.
By the way, listen to how he likes to tear down black people. He's now talking about a senior counsel, and he's comparing his senior counsel with one of his East Indian lawyers in the PPP. Just listen to him and his contempt for black people.
From losing many, many cases. I don't know what sort of senior counsel this man is. Like he just misses everything, the key points. So I think I want to thank Sanjeev Dattadin for clarifying.
Mark, Wayne, go ahead. This is an East Indian racist. I am not mincing my words. This is an East Indian racist. And like I said, they're very good, decent, patriotic people, East Indians, who don't subscribe to the atrocities and this racist nastiness that Bharrat Jagdeo projects, and this PPP. All of them in the PPP. They have no respect for black people. Now, listen to him. I don't know what kind of senior counsel this man is. My East Indian lawyer is better than him. My East Indian Sanjeev, the same Sanjeev that they use to go after Mark Benchcott. when there was absolutely no evidence. Absolutely no evidence. This same starfish lawyer. Go ahead.
Let me say this, Rick, for the man on screen there that is talking about, let me just say, the Honorable Senior Counsel, Mr. Roysdale Ford. The man that you just had on screen there is a total dunce. Okay, if he wants, he can look at Roysdale Ford win-loss percentage and compare it to Sanjeev Dattadin and his Attorney General Anil Nandalal, and we will see who is senior counsel and who is good lawyer from who is not good lawyer. So, Rick Ford, you know something?
He's not concerned with that, though. Go ahead.
Rick Ford, it is funny that every Thursday you have these goons that goes into that Bharrat Jagdeo press conference, these media so-called quote-unquote, because I don't know since when Critic is a media personality, right? He should be in the Georgetown Zoo, okay? And listen to Bharrat Jagdeo just spew nonsense.
No, spew racist venom against black people. That's all they do. Listen to him. Oh, I don't know what kind of lie is this. I am so happy that this time Sandeep Dattadin, because the Attorney General realizes that what they're doing is a violation of the sub-judice rule. So now they have Sandeep Dattadin, but who is also a lawyer, who's also subject to that sub-judice rule, writing. But Bharrat Jagdeo and his so-called ethnic superior citizens feel that they're above the law. And the law is anything we, the East Indian cabal and the PPP says it is. That's it. That's what they know. So he is sitting down now saying, oh, Bharrat has now, nobody has served me with anything. Nobody served me with anything. I challenge Bharrat Jagdeo. Stop talking. Put up and shut up. But release this video.
But Richard, you have to question the police and these other guys that just continue to work with Bharrat Jagdeo because
collude.
Right.
If you conspiracy, collude and conspire.
If you notice, the installed president is staying far away from it. The installed attorney general is staying far away from Bharrat Jagdeo. It's a one-man show.
It's a half-man show. Right. He's not a full man. He's a half-man. Well, I don't even know if he's any man at all. But go ahead.
They have an understanding, Rick Ford, that the game that they were playing is over because there's no game now. There's no more cards to play. They have played all their cards. You understand me? We have them right where we want them, and they know this. This is Bharrat Jagdeo trying to do some damage control. Rick Ford, it is way too late for that. This government would have been sitting there now for 3.5 years, and they've done absolutely nothing for the Guyanese people. So it's too late. You can continue, Rick Ford.
Yeah, I just wanted to wrap up there. We were exactly at 10:30. I don't want to go over the 10:30 time. I want to tell all of us, wow, let me tell you something. I think this is one of the biggest shows that I've ever had. We're pushing towards almost 39,000 people. So thank you, everybody, for watching. I want to, again, tell everybody in the diaspora at home, don't be afraid of these cowards. All they can do is use the Guyana police force to come after people. The Venezuelans are at the border. Let them go to the Venezuelans. And I want to tell members of the Guyana Defense Force, observe. My message to the members of the Guyana police and the ordinary ranks of the Guyana police force and the Guyana Defense Force. Observe and see who your real enemies are. Observe and see who the enemies of mankind are. Observe and see who the enemies of the Guyana Defense Force is. Observe and see who the enemies of the Guyana Police Force. They're among you. They're the ones that drive with Pradas and sirens. They're the ones with brass on the uniform. They are the enemies of mankind. Good night, everybody. Wayne, thank you for joining me. Everybody, have a happy, happy, happy new year. Best of wishes, blessings for 2024. Hope you have a successful one. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Good night.